Mother Teresa, a life of love and service. My dear friends, today I want to tell you a story. It is not just a story of a woman. It is the story of kindness, of love, and of sacrifice. It is about a woman who was born in a small country, but became a mother to the poor of the whole world. Her name was Mother Teresa. When we hear her name, we think of love, service, and compassion. She is remembered as one of the greatest humanitarians in history. But behind her peaceful smile was a life of struggle, hard work, and faith. She had nothing, yet gave everything. She was not rich, not powerful, not famous when she started. She was just a simple woman with a heart full of love. In this story, I will walk with you through her life. From her childhood in Albania to the crowded streets of Calcutta, from her small acts of kindness to the great recognition she received, we will see how one woman changed the world. So, let us begin the journey into the life of Mother Teresa, the saint of the poor. Chapter 1. A Childhood in Skopje. Mother Teresa was born on August 26, 1910, in a small town called Skopje, which at that time was part of the Ottoman Empire, and today it is in North Macedonia. She was the youngest of 3 children in her family. Her father, Nicole, was a businessman, and her mother, Dranafiel, was a deeply religious woman. When Teresa was only 8 years old, her father died suddenly. This left the family poor and struggling. But her mother never gave up. She raised her children with strong faith. She often said, "My children, never eat a mouthful unless you are sharing it with others." These words sank deep into young Teresa's heart. Even as a little girl, Teresa loved to pray, sing in church, and read stories of missionaries. She dreamed of helping the poor and the sick. She looked at the world not with fear, but with compassion. It was in these early years that the seed of service was planted in her heart. Chapter 2. The Call to Serve. When Teresa was a teenager, she began to feel a deep call to dedicate her life to God. At the age of 18, she decided to become a nun and join the Sisters of Loreto, an Irish community of nuns who did missionary work in India. In 1928, she left her home in Skopje. It was not easy. She was leaving behind her family, her friends, and everything she knew. She would never again see her mother or sister. She traveled first to Ireland, where she learned English, and then to India. She arrived in Calcutta, now Kolkata, in 1929. She was only 19 years old, in a land full of poverty, heat, and crowds. At first, she worked as a teacher at a girls' school run by the Sisters of Loreto. She was loved by the students. She taught geography and history, but more than that, she taught kindness and faith. Yet, even while teaching in the school, Teresa could see the suffering outside. On the streets of Calcutta, people were starving, sick, and dying. Something inside her heart told her she had to do more. Chapter 3. The Second Call. In 1946, while traveling by train to Darjeeling for a retreat, Teresa experienced what she later described as a call within a call. She felt that God was asking her to leave the convent school and go into the streets to serve the poorest of the poor. She wrote in her diary, "I heard the call to give up all and follow Christ into the slums, to serve him among the poorest of the poor." This was not an easy decision. To leave the convent meant leaving her secure life as a teacher. But Teresa was brave. She trusted that if she followed the call, God would guide her. After 2 years of preparation, in 1948, she received permission to leave the Loreto convent and begin her new mission. She put on a simple white sari with a blue border, the dress that later became the symbol of her work. She walked into the streets of Calcutta with nothing in her pocket but faith in her heart. Chapter 4. Among the Poor. Teresa began her work in the slums of Calcutta. She started by teaching poor children under a tree. She had no classroom, no blackboard, no books, only her love. She also began to visit the sick, the hungry, and the dying. She would clean wounds, feed the hungry, and sit with those who were alone. She treated each person with dignity, as if they were her own family. Soon, young women came forward to join her. In 1950, she officially founded a new religious congregation called the Missionaries of Charity. Their mission was simple: to care for the hungry, the naked, the homeless, the crippled, the blind, the lepers, all those people who feel unwanted, unloved, and uncared for. Her first big work was the opening of a home for the dying, called Nirmal Hriday, meaning pure heart, where people who had been abandoned could die with dignity and love. She used to say, "We cannot do great things, only small things with great love." Chapter 5. Love in Action. Mother Teresa's work grew quickly. The Missionaries of Charity opened homes for orphans, clinics for lepers, and shelters for the homeless. Her love was not just words, it was action. She would pick up dying people from the street, clean their wounds, and hold their hands. Once, someone said to her, "Mother, what you do is so small compared to the problems of the world." She replied, "Yes, my work is a drop in the ocean, but if that drop was not there, the ocean would be missing something." Her words showed that even small acts of kindness can make a big difference. Chapter 6. Criticism and Challenges. Mother Teresa's work was not without criticism. Some people accused her of not doing enough to fight poverty's root causes. But Teresa never focused on politics or arguments. She said, "I am not a politician. I am a simple nun. I help one person at a time." She believed that love, not power, was the answer to human suffering. And even though she faced criticism, she never stopped. She kept working every day, serving the poor with a smile. Chapter 7. Recognition and Awards. By the 1970s, Mother Teresa had become a world figure. People across the globe admired her courage and compassion. In 1979, she received the Nobel Peace Prize. When asked how she would use the prize money, she said, "I will use it to feed the poor." At the awards ceremony, she gave a simple but powerful speech. She said, "If you cannot feed 100 people, then feed just one." She also received the Bharat Ratna, India's highest civilian award, and many honors from around the world. But she always said, "These awards mean nothing to me. What matters is the people I serve." Chapter 8. A Global Mission. The Missionaries of Charity spread beyond India. Homes and centers were opened in Asia, Africa, Europe, and the Americas. By the 1990s, the congregation had thousands of sisters serving in over 100 countries. Mother Teresa traveled to many places to set up homes and encourage people to serve the poor in their own communities. She met world leaders, but she always remained humble. Even when speaking to presidents or kings, she would simply say, "Do something for the poor in your country." Her mission was no longer just in Calcutta. It had become a mission for the whole world. Chapter 9. Struggles of the Heart. Few people knew that behind her smile, Mother Teresa sometimes struggled with loneliness and doubt. In her private letters, Published after her death, she wrote about feeling spiritually dry, sometimes not feeling God's presence. But what is amazing is that even in her struggles, she continued to love and serve. She never let her personal pain stop her from helping others. This shows us that being strong does not mean having no struggles. It means continuing to do good even when life is difficult. Chapter 10. Final Years. In the 1990s, Mother Teresa's health began to decline. She suffered from heart problems and had to step down as head of the Missionaries of Charity in 1997. On September 5, 1997, she passed away in Calcutta at the age of 87. The whole world mourned. Millions of people, from the richest to the poorest, felt they had lost a mother. Her funeral was attended by leaders from around the world. But more important were the thousands of poor people of Calcutta who came to say goodbye to the woman who had loved them. Chapter 11. Her Legacy. After her death, her work did not end. The Missionaries of Charity continued, and even today, they serve the poor across the world. In 2016, Pope Francis declared her a saint of the Catholic Church. Now she is remembered as Saint Teresa of Calcutta. But beyond titles, awards, or sainthood, her greatest legacy is the message she left. Do small things with great love. My dear friends, what do we learn from the life of Mother Teresa? We learn that you do not need wealth to give. You do not need power to change the world. You only need love. Mother Teresa lived a life of humility. She did not try to solve every problem. She simply helped one person at a time. That is the secret of her greatness. So let us remember her life not just as a story of the past, but as a call for our present. A call to live with kindness, to give with love, and to serve with joy.